You just got wrecked.
What's going on, guys? It's K-Dub here with another episode of Crypto Zombie. So today is, well, it's Monday, but it's very late Monday, so it might even be Tuesday where you are. I'm making this video incredibly late. I was traveling all day, but we are finally back in the studio. Smash the likes, everyone, because Bitcoin is up 6.99%, $11,743. My goodness, what a beautiful weekend that we had. So having a look at what happened, I mean, we just kept going up and up and up and up and up. So we have a lot to talk about. Now, what is causing this? Now, we know what's been going on with China and all that stuff. We're going to get into that. But also, a lot of these other people are saying that Bitcoin is officially becoming the safe haven for a lot of these different institutions, investors, right? So we're going to get into that. Also, I want to talk about the speculation on what's happening with these Coinbase coins. We might have a bit of an idea of which one might be listed. We'll get into that in just a second. And I also want to talk about something interesting that's been happening with the Bitcoin miners in the background that not a lot of people are talking about that also could have a lot to do with all of this positive activity that we are seeing. And if that sounds good to you, well, you know what to do. Also, today is it's supposed to be the Ledger giveaway, but I'm not gonna lie, I'm not prepared for it. So guess what, guys? One more day for the Ledger. If you want, drop a comment today and we will do the Ledger giveaway tomorrow, okay? It's a day late, I know, but I just got home and I'm trying to get a video out today, guys. So having a look at what is going on, Bitcoin dominance is actually up even 0.1% since the last time that I checked. You can see it's 67.8%. Well, it says it's up 7.45 according to CoinMarketCap. 67.9%. Wow, it's gone up even since I just had the page loaded. So very good day today. Now, I don't mean to be the bearer of bad news, but it is Bitcoin leading the charts once again. If we switch this to the Bitcoin comparative, well, you'll notice a lot of coins, Decred's up 1.5%, but a lot of them are still in the red compared to the Bitcoin comparative, except for ABBC, which is up 56%. I don't know what's up with that. And Quant Network, which you guys know I am a fan of. Also looking at some other Tron Classic. Come on, guys. Who's buying Tron Classic? Quant, Augur, Decred, Digibyte. Very nice. Now, having a look at what is going on, clearly we are back above the parabolic advance. This is super bullish. I'm glad to see this. However, I just want to be honest, okay? Because I want to be realistic here. We got stomped out by this resistance, okay? So the one that started back up here at the peak, we had this, and then this is the third point of contact. So, if we don't break above this, well, then it would mean that we're going to fall back down into this channel, right? So if Bitcoin was to go all the way back down to the bottom, could we potentially see a $9,350 Bitcoin? It's possible. And the only reason that I'm saying this is because currently we're having so much difficulty breaking above this resistance. Now, if we do break above this resistance, well, then I think we'd have a lot more positive upside. Interestingly enough, we had the trend reversal over here on the 4-hour. Now, this is actually on the Bybit chart. You can see this is the Bybit perpetual futures contract over here. And we had the trend reversal and a green dot that usually signals the long. So if you had an opportunity to look at Market Cipher, even if, let's say, you got it all the way at the top, you didn't even get that much, you could have got upwards to 18%, or even if you just sold right now, you'd still have around 16%. So that was a pretty good trade if anybody was able to get in on that one. Congratulations. But also having a look over here, not only are we being held down, by this resistance, but also having a look at the charts right here, we have this major level of around that 11,700. It's like 11,738, but we've been talking about this level for so long, ever since it was back here. If you guys have been in the Telegram group, you know this has been a very, not psychological level, but important level for Bitcoin to get above. So if Bitcoin can get above this $11,700, $11,800 level, and then we can break above 12,750, well, then we may be seeing a very, very high Bitcoin very soon. I mean, we could literally blast off, especially if we're able to put in something higher than even what we had back here around 13,150, right? But here's something interesting. So Joe McCann, he says there's only one chart and one meme you need for Bitcoin today, and it's this one. And if you don't know what he's referring to, essentially, if we zoom in, and I know I don't usually use this too much as an indicator, but he's talking about the MACD, and he's saying that this is an extremely bullish crossover, okay? He went on to talk a little bit more about it, saying that the most recent crossover of this kind returned around 52% to 61% from its former price. So this time, if Bitcoin was to, have this 60% rally, we could see a $17,000 Bitcoin. Now, don't get too crazy just yet, all right? No, nothing goes straight up. But if history repeats itself, which sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't, but we could be seeing a $17,000 Bitcoin, which is crazy considering that when Max Kaiser came out and said 15,000, we thought that was high. But you could also see, could the halving push it farther? Well, we do have the halving coming up. You guys see what happened with Litecoin, right? Litecoin did very, very well leading up to it. Had a little bit of a pullback, but then on the day of, it had a nice little uptick. So I definitely think that this is going to be playing a massive factor moving forward. But aside from all of that, let's just talk about the fact that it is actually becoming a safe haven, as they're wording it, for some of these investors. Now I'm going to play this really quick. The volume's a little low, so if it's kind of bad audio, my apologies, but just check this out and see what they had to say.
Tech is an area that we really continue to like.
Paul, at the moment, as you look at things cross-asset, which asset class is in the driving seat at the moment? Equities or fixed income?
I think it's fixed income now. I think that equities has been in the driving seat, and fixed income, to me, has now become the safe haven, almost in a way that gold and even Bitcoin are becoming safe haven. So it's like...
So even though it was just casually mentioned, I think the fact that we saw this on Bloomberg is pretty incredible. The fact they're like, yeah, I mean, it's a safe haven like Bitcoin, right? I mean, just saying it that way. Also, another thing too, now obviously I can't read this, but they said that Bitcoin was mentioned on Dutch TV, RTLZ, as a possible investment right here. So you can see, there you go, Bitcoin. So that seems to be what everyone is talking about. And if you don't believe me, let's see what Jeremy Allaire said. Now, he's been really vocal lately, talking about the Facebook Libra, talking about Bitcoin. Okay, we've been playing a lot of videos. So he was on Squawk Box and he pretty much said the exact same thing and agreed with Melissa Lee. So I'm going to play this for you guys super quick and then we're going to talk about it.
So at what point, Jeremy, would you say that Bitcoin is acting like a safe haven trade? I mean, it sounds almost crazy, right, to say Bitcoin is any sort of safe haven. But what we're seeing in terms of the lack of correlation and the correlation more to global turmoil, to that extent, it seems like it could be one.
Yeah, I mean, if you step back and you think about it, humanity has now created a non-sovereign, highly secure, a mechanism to store value that can exist anywhere that the internet exists. It can exist, as we say, in a brain wallet. It's uncensorable. It's unseizable. These are really powerful attributes that I think as people who are looking at risk assets, they're looking at fundamental turmoil. It can be a very attractive asset in that context.
So you could see how one of the things that he stresses that I think is the greatest part about Bitcoin is the fact that it really is truly unconfiscatable. I mean, he talks about a brain wallet, right? You could memorize your seed phrase. You could memorize your 24 words in your head. Imagine that. Get on a plane, go somewhere, remember your words, type them in, and get your money, right? So that is just one of the amazing qualities of Bitcoin. But also you're seeing it's not just institutions. It's not just what we're hearing about, China, which we'll get into in just a second, but you're also seeing retail money coming in as well. You're seeing spot markets having a lot of buying from the retails. According to a recent report by Crypto Compare, you could see that Binance hit more than 42 billion in total trading volume just in June, an average daily volume of, and get this, 1.6 billion. That's a 12.7 increase from the previous month. You also have BitHome clocked in as a top fiat to crypto exchange with 13.9 billion, Coinbase at 12.7 billion, which is up 17.4%, and P2P B2B at 11.9 billion. Okay, so this is clearly showing you that there is retail interest, all right? But here's the interesting thing. By the way, shout out to BitBoy Crypto. If you guys haven't checked out his news website, he runs a little bit of a website over here. But you can see he says the Bitcoin mining hash rate set an all-time high. We spoke about that, right? But that's not what I want to talk about. Now, there's evidence that more than 100,000 new miners have come online in the last 2 weeks. So when you actually do the math on this, now I'm not saying that they went out and bought new miners, right? These could have been ones that were just sitting there and they were just waiting for that opportunity, waiting for the perfect time. But you could see that more than $200 million would have been spent on this mining equipment had they bought it fresh, trying to almost get that gold rush of Bitcoin. Everybody thinks it's going to go to the moon. So that is something too. So that just goes to show you that you not only have those geopolitical kind of things going on, you also have retail, institutional, and the miners as well. I mean, that's the trifecta right there, guys. So Bitcoin basically has everything going on. Now, talking about this, Donald Trump China dropped the price of their currency to almost a historic low. It's called currency manipulation. Are you listening, Federal Reserve? This is a major violation which will greatly weaken China over time. By the way, I liked the Pomp's response. Bitcoin cannot be manipulated by a single country, President Trump. So that's something to keep in mind. And one analyst that I really like following, Philb over on Twitter, he actually talked to Cointelegraph about Bitcoin's current price action, and he says that it underscores its value proposition of digital scarcity. It truly is becoming the digital gold that we've spoken about for so long. He said the market's response to this deprecation of the yuan and capital flight controls imposed on Chinese citizens really emphasizes the value proposition of Bitcoin and what an increase in demand can do to the price when there is such a limited supply on offer to the market. Bitcoin could easily continue to surpass expectations for the remainder of 2019, and I think it already has. A lot of us were even wondering if we were going to see a 10k Bitcoin. Well, on some of the futures trading, we've seen well over $14,200, right? So that definitely caught a lot of people by storm. And of course, have to talk about the big story of the day. You may be already familiar with what's going on, but if you're not, with a 10% surge on the day, Bitcoin has written, now keep in mind, this was written a little bit earlier, right? It's a little lower now, but with the surge, nonetheless, it reached a 3-week high, while in China, the yuan collapsed to a 10-year low against the dollar. So the question is, are the Chinese loading up on Bitcoin, right? Conspiracy time. Well, they say there's a number of factors that could be driving the momentum fundamentally. One is the mass liquidation of short positions on BitMEX, which we're going to get into that in just a second. Another, like I said, is the fall of the Chinese yuan, which has dumped below 7 against the dollar, its lowest level in a decade. According to CNN reports this morning, the yuan weakened sharply after the People's Bank of China set its daily reference rate for the currency at 6.9225. The central bank cited trade protectionism and new tariffs on China as its reasoning for the slide. So yeah, let me know what you guys think about that moving forward. But, having a look at this, it's not looking too good. I mean, you could see London's FTSE 100 fell 2.2%. Frankfurt's DAX 1.8. I mean, just look at these. Look at Frank CAC declined 2.1. Nikkei 2.9. These are all down, okay? These are all down while Bitcoin is skyrocketing 10% in the background, right? Very interesting. This is capturing a lot of attention, not just locally, but globally. Everybody's wondering, well, if everything else is falling, how is this thing freaking going to the moon right now, right? A lot of people are paying attention. So we're going to talk a little bit more about that tomorrow, but I wanted to get this quick video out for you tonight because I just really hate when I can't make videos. But the other big news today is that Coinbase is talking about exploring some different assets that they might be adding. Now, these are in alphabetical order. So you have Algorand, Cosmos, Dash, Decred, Matic, Harmony, Ontology, and Waves. Now, this does not mean that they're going to add them all, okay? They are exploring them. Keep in mind, they said they were exploring Cardano. ADA is still not on Coinbase, right? So that's something to just consider. But if I had to make a speculation, the one thing I do want to note is that if we come over to Coinbase Ventures and we scroll all the way down here, well, you will notice that Coinbase Ventures has invested in Matic. Now, I'm not saying it's going to be Matic. It might not be Matic. In fact, so many people are probably thinking it's going to be Matic that maybe Coinbase doesn't want to show a bias and maybe they'll list something else first. Maybe they'll go with Dash or Algorand or something like that. Which, by the way, guys, Algorand is pumping right now because they had some news that came out about staking. I actually just retweeted it on my Twitter, but I don't have it pulled up right now. But that's why that's pumping. But yeah, I mean, you saw Matic was up like 20% today. Harmony was up 20%. So a lot of people were pretty excited about this announcement. It looks like the Coinbase effect actually had its effect again, right? So like I said, obviously, take a dart, throw it at a board. I don't know which one, but I do know that Coinbase Ventures has invested in Matic. And if we go through here, none of the other tokens that they're looking to list have they invested in. So that's just something to consider, okay? Not saying it's going to happen, but it's just something to consider. That's all I'm saying, guys. Also, having a look, I told you I was going to get back to BitMEX. Unfortunately, BitMEX continues to feel the pressure this week, and data shows that July delivered its worst performance in its history. It says blockchain intelligence resource token analyst reported that BitMEX saw over $500 million leave its platform last month, BitMEX, excuse me, guys. I'm just trying to get this out quick. BitMEX had 524 million net outflows in July. It had never more than 100 million in a single month. And look at this chart right here. I mean, guys, you could clearly see what's going on right here. It says 2018 saw inflows of about 1.3 billion, with inflows beating outflows every month despite the bearish sentiment. So that is a situation. We've been talking about that. We know the CFTC, they're getting involved. They're worried about people trading. They also were worried about maybe these rumors of like trading against clients. Now that's pure speculation. I'm just saying what I've heard. Obviously that hasn't been proven, but if that turns out to be true, that's going to definitely be some extremely damaging information that would surface, to say the least. So obviously, don't want to speculate too much until we get more information on it, but that is what's happening. So what I personally think is going on is I think a lot of these guys are moving to Bybit. Personally, I use Bybit. I like Bybit. I think it's one of the easiest exchanges I've ever used. I love how you can, move and, customize it however you want. It's like a really awesome platform. If you guys haven't checked it out, I do have a tutorial. I'll drop that above. But yeah, I mean, if BitMEX, I don't know. I'm not going to say anything, but we'll have to see what goes on with that. But yeah, you're seeing all of these things fall. Bitcoin's going up. And that being said, guys, one Satoshi is now worth more than 7 national currencies. And you could read them right here. The Iranian rial, Vietnamese dong, Indonesian rupiah, Guinean francs, Sierra Leone, the Lao kip, and the Uzbekistan sam. I'm sure I pronounced a bunch of that wrong, but long story short, you could see that while all of these other countries are experiencing this inflation, some of them hyperinflation, you are seeing the Satoshi, which is the smallest unit of measurement for a Bitcoin, gaining and gaining in value, to the point where you even saw some people saying, hey, we should probably come up with a symbol for the Satoshi, because at some point, Bitcoin's probably going to be worth so much that we're going to have to start measuring things in Satoshis. So that's just something to keep in mind moving forward. And one more bit of good news before we go. Crypto Mom, with probably one of the scariest pictures I've seen. This is a little bit of a scary drawing right here, but it says Crypto Mom is eager to offer regulated platform for the sale and issuance of tokens and cryptocurrencies. So this was at the conference forum held at the Singapore University of Social Science. The SEC Commissioner Hester Pierce declared her desire to offer a non-exclusive safe harbor for the exchange of tokens and coins. So there would almost certainly be a screening process for which the tokens deserve to be listed. But the interesting thing is, this is good news for tokenization. You can see they talk about real estate would be easily transferable with historical information available with a private key. They talk about things like bonds, shares, commodities. I mean, just think about how easy this would be. Tokenizing shares of buildings, right? How easy would it be to transfer ownership? It would be so much less complicated. It would be secured on the blockchain. And if these guys can get it regulated, if they can get a platform for the sale of these tokens, well, then I think that's taking a step in the right direction. And guys, that's it for my quick update today. Couldn't leave you hanging today. I'm going to make one tomorrow too. We're back on the grind. Don't forget, Ledger Nano S. I'm not going to give it away today. You guys get one more chance. We will give it away tomorrow. I'll pick a random winner. You can comment on any video throughout the course of the week, including this video. So all last week and this video makes you eligible. Thank you so much again for coming back to the channel, even on this super